Okay. So the first management review meeting. It's an important milestone because it actually marks the end of the implementation phase, or sorry, the documentation and the planning phase. So what does that mean? It means that you have defined all your policies and you have done some training of the like a first awareness training of the organization, or at least you have planned it, and you have your risk assessment. So those are like the big pieces. And now you can go into your management meeting and say, look, here's our big overview. We might still have some implementation things that are not done yet, some of those risk treatments or things we have put in our policies that we have not implemented yet. Let's say you want to buy a antivirus program, sorry, and install on all computers. Maybe you haven't done it yet, but you put it in one of your policies, and now it's in the plan for implementation. So then you can go into your management meeting and say, this is our plan, this is where we are, and we need some budget approved for this, for example. So it's an important milestone because it really marks that you're ready to start to implement what's missing and to start run the yearly cycle. And my biggest recommendation is to start really, really simple. Sometimes people want to put a lot of complicated KPIs already in the first management review meeting, and they make it very, very complicated from the beginning. So here, always remember that the principle is continuous improvement. So start simple. It's easily gonna get more complicated as you go, so you don't have to overcomplicate it from the beginning. And I have an example I'm gonna show on how you can do it in a simple way. So you can use this as a template actually. And if you do want a few KPIs, I also have examples of how you can start with some really simple ones. And then it's important to have, budget for any risk treatments or improvements. So really make sure you think about if you found some of those gaps or risk treatments that are needed, that this is included in the management meeting. Because this is typically where you have the people in the room that can actually approve the budget. And very important, make sure that you have minutes, so like a little decision minute from the meeting. Who is there? What decisions were made? So you have that on record, because that might be checked in an audit. So let's have a look at this presentation. So here's an example of how it can look, and you can simply copy and edit this. So let me just go through it. So first, a little purpose of the meeting. Provide an overview, discuss upcoming steps, future challenges, and then write down who is at the meeting and who is going to be the minutes reference. An introduction, and reminding everyone that it has to be backed up by management and that it's mandatory. And here, this part, the strategic goals and objectives, this is something that you have put in your top level policy, so you can copy it from there. So this is just to remind everyone, these are actually our strategic goals. And then you can add KPI measurements. You don't have to do this in the very first version, but it's just to show an example. So for example, you could start with, we want all employees to have completed the basic security training. That's always a good one to start with. And let's say you have decided to use a password manager, then you can measure current how many are using it, and maybe the goal is to get higher. So this is how you can start to measure on your security program. And then you can highlight the benefits. That's always nice. What have we already gained? And the status. Where are we? We have policies and procedures in place, risk assessment, and treatment plan. But we found out that we need a dedicated IT person to take responsibility. So this is a typical finding, actually, in smaller companies. And then the budget. So what is it we want to do? And what is an approximate budget we need? And then we want to talk about the risk so that management is informed and can approve at least on an overall level. So I like to do a summary version and say how many we have. So how many are red, how many are yellow. So if you have a red risk, it means it's a high risk in the risk assessment, and mitigation must be done as soon as possible. If yellow, we can plan, and if green, they are by default accepted. So in this example, we have many total. And then the top 5 go into what are actually the risks that we have seen and that we're working on. And here are just some examples. What are we going to do about it? And what is the status? To give an overview like that. So I think this is a nice way to give an overview without getting into like a very, very detailed risk assessment, which can be quite, a big, it can be a long list, like we had 97 here, for example. Okay, and what are we going to continuously improve? So here we can come with some opportunities and recommendations. So this is what we want to do, and we would like maybe like management to say yes to this, or to at least be informed. Clarity about who will be IT manager, take that role. Improve security by getting password manager for everyone. And we also want to appoint a DPO, so we have that role covered. And we want to implement a feature for customers to upload sensitive data. This one is already done. And then we have some news we want to share. So this is an example of like what you can come to a management review meeting and present. And then record any actions, really important. And that will be noted in the record. And set a date for the next meeting. And I always like to end with a little clapping here. So this is how you can structure a management review meeting without making it super complicated. And who should then be in this meeting? So, of course, the project team who is working on the ISMS project, the DCL project, or the ISO project, and then someone from the top management. So in a smaller company, typically the CEO will be there. Sometimes it can be COO or CFO, but it's important that you have someone there who can make some budget decisions and who are also driving the culture in the organization. So yeah, especially if you have some budget requests, they need to be in the room. Otherwise, you just need to have an extra meeting to get the budget approved, which is, of course, also a possibility. Okay, and then you have reached a milestone, very big milestone, because now you're ready to start the cycle of continuous improvement. So you have different celebration styles. So you can think about which style are you. Sometimes people say I'm missing a beer in this screen. So yeah,